Selling a commercial property is nothing like selling a house. It is a completely different beast where just one missing document or some hidden problem can literally kill a multi-million-dollar deal. So, what's the playbook for a game with stakes this high? Let's break it down.
So, what is the secret sauce? I can tell you it goes way beyond just sticking a for sale sign out front. We are talking about a deep, forensic level investigation into a property's DNA. Everything from its legal past to the actual air inside its walls. Seriously, it's not just a different ballpark, it's a whole different sport. Look at it this way. Selling a house, that's kind of like doing a jigsaw puzzle. But selling a commercial property, that's like trying to navigate a maze, blindfolded. You've got this tangled web of tenant leases, constantly changing zoning laws, and a mountain of financial paperwork to get through. You're not just selling a building, you're selling a living, breathing business. And that maze? Well, that's where the real work gets started. Welcome to the due diligence deep dive. This is the part where we basically put on our detective hats and start digging for clues, way before any potential buyer even steps foot on the property. So what's in this detective's toolkit? Well, it all kicks off with 5 core duties, and these come straight from the Code of Ethics. First up is competent service. Think of yourself as the seller's bodyguard, protecting their interests no matter what. Then you get into the nitty-gritty, verifying what the property can legally be used for, making sure every single square foot is accounted for, and putting every document under a microscope. And finally, you gotta play by the rules, which means complying with FINTRAC to identify who the seller really is. This isn't just some checklist. This is the absolute foundation of the entire deal. And this is where the drama really happens. These right here are the legal landmines that can blow up a deal in a heartbeat. An easement could mean a utility company can just decide to tear up your parking lot. A restrictive covenant? That might as well be a giant sign that says no fun allowed for any future plans. And don't even get me started on the tenants. One late payment or a bit of damage can be a massive red flag for a buyer. Each one of these is like a ticking time bomb that you have to find and defuse. Okay, so once the paper trail is under control, it's time to get our hands dirty. We're moving from the legal docs to the physical site to see what secrets the building itself might be hiding, from its deepest foundation all the way up to the rooftop. And don't let a fresh coat of paint fool you. We're going backstage to check the building's vital signs. That HVAC system, how old is it? Are we talking about a healthy teenager or a wheezing grandpa on its last legs? Were those fancy renovations done by the book, or is this a permitless nightmare waiting to happen? Oh, and let's not forget the unsung hero of any office building, the elevator. Is it a smooth ride or a clanking death trap? Every little detail matters, because for an investor, this building isn't just a space, it's an engine for future profit. Now, the exterior, it's more than just curb appeal. It's a whole other puzzle. Yeah, the roof is obviously the big one. A leaky roof is a deal killer for sure. But what about the stuff that's hiding in plain sight? Like, see that cell tower on the roof? Is that thing a cash cow bringing in a nice, steady income? Or is it a Trojan horse, hiding an agreement that could completely block future development? It's a classic case of friend or foe, and you absolutely have to know the answer. All right, now let's talk about the real skeletons in the closets. In real estate, we call them latent defects, and these are the nasty surprises that don't show up in a normal inspection. We're talking about the ghosts of the past, asbestos hiding in the walls, a secret colony of mold having a party in the basement, or maybe even toxic soil from a factory that was there decades ago. And here's the golden rule. If the seller knows about it, they have to disclose it. Because in commercial real estate, what you don't know can absolutely hurt you, and it can land you in a world of legal trouble. So, we've x-rayed the building, we've dug into its legal history, we've even checked for ghosts in the basement. Now comes the moment of truth. How much is this thing actually worth? And let me tell you, it's less about pulling a number out of thin air and more of a delicate dance between art and science. Professional appraisers are like financial detectives, and they've got 3 main ways to crack the case of a property's value. There's the cost approach, which is the what-if game. What would it cost to build this exact building from scratch, right here today? Then you've got the direct comparison approach, which is kind of like keeping up with the Joneses. What did that similar building down the street just sell for? But for a property that's all about making money, the income approach is the holy grail. It asks the one question that matters most. How much cash does this place actually generate? And the secret weapon for that income approach is something called the cap rate. Just think of it like a property's financial heartbeat. A low, steady pulse, a low cap rate, means it's a super safe bet, kind of like a blue chip stock. A high fast pulse, a high cap rate, that's a sign of a riskier investment, a real wild card that could have a huge payoff or be a total bust. It's the one number that lets an investor compare a skyscraper in a big city to a small shopping center in the suburbs.
And believe it or not, all this complex valuation stuff, it boils down to a pretty simple formula. You just take the property's net operating income, that's all the money it makes, minus all its expenses, and you divide it by that cap rate. It's the magic formula that turns a stream of income into a concrete valuation for a piece of real estate.
Let's make this real. Imagine a property is making a nice $58,000 a year after all its bills are paid. And let's say the typical cap rate in that area is 12.5%. You just pull out your phone, divide 58,000 by 0.125, and boom, you've got a property worth $464,000. It's really that straightforward. And that is how you turn a simple spreadsheet into a valuable asset.
So, all our ducks are in a row. The detective work is done, the price is set, and now it's time for the main event. Finding the right buyer, someone with deep pockets who's looking for a great investment. But how do you market a multi-million-dollar asset without, shouting it from the rooftops? Right, so forget everything you know about open houses and for sale signs. Marketing commercial real estate is more like a secret society. It's all about creating a super detailed confidential package, basically the property's entire life story, and then discreetly getting it into the right hands. Showings are more like secret agent meetings than public tours, all designed to not upset the tenants, who are, after all, the reason the property makes money. It's a real tightrope walk between showing off the property's potential and keeping everything under wraps.
So in the end, selling a commercial property is kind of like conducting an orchestra. You've got all these different moving parts, legal, financial, physical, and they all have to come together in perfect harmony. It's not just about a handshake and handing over the keys. It's about transferring an entire complex business ecosystem to someone new.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? In one of these massive deals, what's the most valuable asset? Is it the actual steel and glass? Or is it the story about the building? The incredibly detailed, verified, and organized information that turns a pile of bricks into a potential gold mine? It's something to think about, because in the high-stakes world of real estate, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit.